Hello students and learning coaches, this is Miss Boyd and we're going to work through Unit 14, Lesson 1 today. So make sure you are logged into the OLS, go to Math Plus Blue, we're on Unit 14, Lesson 1. Our main focus for this lesson is for our students to decide if they need to add to solve the problem or if they need to subtract. If you click on Unit Resources, notice it doesn't mention any materials here. So you have everything you need right now. This just gives you an overview of what you're going to see in the lesson. Okay, you have your review here at the beginning. So click on Review Assessment. And then you can continue with the lesson. So pause the video to complete the review. Now that you are done, let's click Continue with Lesson to move on. Okay, and this is the teaching part of the lesson. And so you're going to have some story problems here, and your students need to decide if it will be adding or subtracting. There are 13 screens, so make sure you click the arrow and go through all 13 as your students work through these different problems. Pause the video now to go through these 13 screens. Great job. Now our boys and girls should have an idea that if we're putting things together, we are adding. If we're wanting to know how many more, or if some go away, we are subtracting. Okay, we have another practice here with some story problems. Again, it will be adding or subtracting. This time there are 11 screens to go through as they teach and practice and helping our students decide when to add and when to subtract. So pause the video now and go through this lesson. Again, remember boys and girls, if you're putting groups together and you want to know how many in all, then you are adding. That is a clue, the words in all. If some go away, that's subtracting. If you need to know how many more, that's also subtracting. Now this lesson has an assessment here at the end. Your student's assessment sheet is in their workbook. It can also be linked right there. In your workbook, it's page 297 and 298. And we're going to work through a couple of these problems together, and I will show you how to enter those scores. Pause now if you need to get these pages for your student, 297 and 298. Okay, the focus of this lesson, again, is to see if you need to add to solve the problem or subtract. And as this assessment shows, your students won't have to actually work out the problems, they need to know the difference. So let's look at the first problem together. Molly had 8 crayons. She gave 2 crayons to her brother. How many crayons does Molly have left? Never hurts to repeat a question for our students to make sure they understand. So Ms. Boyd's going to read this one again. Holly had 8 crayons. Molly had 8 crayons. She gave 2 crayons to her brother. How many crayons does Molly have left? And your student needs to mark either add or subtract. Remember, boys and girls, she gave some to her brother. Some went away. Let's go over one more together. Number 2. 7 bees were on a flower. 3 more bees flew up and landed on the flower. How many bees are on the flower now? 7 bees were on a flower. 3 more bees flew up and landed on the flower. How many bees are on the flower now? So boys and girls, decide if you are adding to solve that problem or if you are subtracting. Learning coaches, if it helps your student to use objects to solve this, that is fine. We want to see if they understand when to add and when to subtract. Please work through the remainder of the problems with your student. Then you can come back to the OLS and you can enter your child's score. You click the arrow here, not exit review, but the arrow here lets you enter your student's answers. Mine is from a teacher's view, so that's why you see answers already marked, but you can enter your students' answers and get their score. Then you'll want to click Exit Review, continue with lesson, and you may mark your lesson complete. I hope everyone did well with this lesson, and I hope you have a great afternoon. Thank you.